When dealing with mental and physical illness, one of the concepts we're often taught is to identify our triggers. Most people think of triggers as situations, dealing with grief, change, rejection, or high-stress circumstances. But triggers can be much more than that. Have you ever felt a random mood swing for no reason? You were doing fine, and then out of nowhere, you start feeling depressed, fatigued, or overwhelmed, with no apparent trigger in sight? Well, today, I'm going to teach you some of the biological triggers that often get overlooked. Now, before we continue, I must lead by saying I am not a medical professional. All the information in this video is based off of research and experience. So if you would like to further explore your health through the ideas suggested in this video, please consider reaching out to a medical professional before proceeding. First up and most important is food. Food is a source of energy in our body. It is our fuel. Think of it as a car. If you're putting in the wrong gas into your car is not going to want to work for you. Unfortunately, diets such as the standard American diet, otherwise known as SAD, which encompasses it perfectly, can do a lot of harm onto your brain and body. Because of the high amounts of processed, artificial, and sugary foods we eat in our society, we are more susceptible in our day and age to damaging the lining of our stomach. You may be thinking, what does my gut have to do with my mental health? A lot, actually. Your gut and your brain are so closely linked that problems in your gut will lead to problems in your brain, and vice versa. Think about it. When you're nervous, you start to feel butterflies in your stomach. That is a direct effect of their connection. Another example could be if you ever have migraines or headaches, sometimes when you get that feeling, you'll also start to feel nauseous. With all this being said, here are some of the foods that you should be aware of as potential biological triggers. Sugar. This is a big one. Pay attention to your sugar intake because you will be surprised how much sugar is in everything. And I don't just mean cookies and cake and milkshakes. I mean everything. Sauces, canned fruit, fruit snacks, chips, bread, everything. On the screen, I'm putting some of the common names sugar goes by on food labels for you to be aware of. Gluten. Did you know 18 million people in the US alone have an intolerance to gluten? And much like sugar, we use gluten without moderation when it comes to American meals. High glycemic, low fiber foods that turn to sugar such as pasta, bread, potatoes, and rice. Soy products. Much like sugar, soy is in a lot of different foods and can be a common source of inflammation for many people. Corn. You may be thinking, oh, that's pretty easy. I don't eat much of that. Think again, because corn can actually take many different forms. Think about it. Popcorn, there's corn syrup, corn chips. Some other examples are vegetable oils, artificially flavored, colored, or sweetened foods. Dairy products, as that's another common inflammatory food for many people. Alcohol, and processed foods, like fast food, cereal, chips, cookies, and french fries. Now, I'm not saying you have to cut out these foods completely. Trust me, I know how hard that is. But I highly suggest that you only eat these foods in moderation. And be mindful of how these foods affect you, how much you're eating them, cutting out any of the foods that don't agree with your body. It's not about how many calories you're eating, it's about what you're eating. Another thing to note is that food can affect you minutes to days after eating them. So just because you eat something and you don't feel repercussions a little while after, doesn't mean that you're in the clear. If you really want to know what foods affect you, try an elimination diet or try a food allergy test. Food allergies are more common than you think. And just because you don't feel nauseous or tingly after eating something doesn't mean that you don't have an intolerance to it that could be damaging your health. Most people actually don't feel any symptoms until they cut out that food for upwards of a month and then reintroduce it. As an example, in the book The End of Mental Illness by Daniel Amen, he describes treating a patient for severe depression. One of the methods that they tried is an elimination diet, where this patient cut out gluten, soy, dairy, sugar, and corn for a whole month. At the end of the month, he reintroduced each of these food groups back into his diet one at a time. While he had never noticed it before, when he reintroduced corn back into his diet, he said within 20 minutes, he began feeling suicidal and like a danger to himself. So pay attention to how food affects you next time you eat out. And if you feel like you've eaten something that's caused some inflammation to your gut, try fasting for 12 to 16 hours between dinner and breakfast to allow your stomach to heal and your brain to cleanse itself. Or try ginger tea. Ginger tea is great for gut inflammation. Next up is sleep. Sleep is our brain's time to recharge, so no wonder it affects our mental health when we don't get adequate amounts of it. Ideally, you want to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, good sleep, a night, but different bodies require different needs, so experiment with what works best with you. Some things that can be triggers for a night of not so good sleep are exposure to technology 1 to 2 hours before bed or right when you wake up in the morning, not having a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed late as this can affect your sleep cycle as well as your anxiety hormones such as cortisol, sleeping with your phone close to you like on a bedside table, and eating a couple hours before bed as this can affect digestion as well as how deep of a sleep you're getting. If you feel like you're tossing and turning in the night, it's likely you're not getting adequate sleep. Disrupted sleep and conditions like sleep disorders have a major effect on your physical and mental well-being. So it's important to be mindful of that and certainly get it checked out if you feel like that may be an issue for you. Next up is water. Being that our brains are made of 70 to 80% water, when we're dehydrated, of course it's going to affect our mood, alertness, and our stress levels. If you're interested, I've linked a water intake calculator below so that you can see how much water you need to be drinking every single day. And then there are toxins. Exposures to toxins such as smoke, marijuana, mold, lead, cleaning supplies, bathroom products, paint fumes, gas, and foods exposed to pesticides can all have effects on your overall health, overwhelming your detox systems. Try to avoid these toxins whenever possible, or try to use protection against it, like gloves or masks. But if you're unable to do that, just be mindful of how these toxins are going to affect your mental health moving forward with your day. If you want to try to reduce the amount of toxins in your bathroom products, I suggest downloading the Think Dirty app, www.thinkdirtyapp.com, so that you can get a comprehensive list of bathroom products and makeup products that are less toxic that you can try. Another thing to be aware of is weather, changing seasons, and the moon cycle. Research shows us that storms and weather patterns can bring about atmospheric changes that can have effects on our mood and common physical conditions such as asthma, autoimmune conditions, arthritis, and neurological disorders, to name a few. In a similar sense, seasonal changes can also be triggers for mental and physical symptoms too. They bring about different allergens and biological changes as our bodies begin adjusting to the upcoming season. Be sure to pay attention to the moon too. Full moons have shown through research to bring about all sorts of mental and physical symptomology. I know in my household, my dad and I will feel it neurologically anytime a full moon is present. Next up on the list are vitamin levels. Vitamin deficiencies can be common causes for mental and physical illness. Some vitamin levels that may have this effect are B12, folate, magnesium, and vitamin D. While most of these are going to show more of a long-term effect, one to be aware for short-term is vitamin D. We receive vitamin D from the sun, so that is why so many people experience seasonal depression in the winter, a time of year where most of us like to stay inside more. Staying inside for long periods of time is going to lower your vitamin D. So if you find yourself feeling depressed after a long day inside, consider going on a midday walk. Some other more specific examples of biological triggers could be changes to blood sugar and blood pressure. While these are going to be more prevalent with physical conditions, they're still really good to keep in mind. If you consume a large amount of sugar at once, your blood sugar is going to still carry repercussions with your mood, your body, and your mental health. Dehydration and skipping meals is going to lower blood pressure, which lowers the amount of blood flow that's going to your brain. If the blood is not getting to your brain all that properly, your brain's not going to be functioning at 100%. Finally, some of the last ones to keep in mind are just natural hormonal changes, things that happen during menstrual cycles and throughout puberty. While these changes can affect your biology, remember that none of these things invalidates the emotions, thoughts, or struggles that come along with these triggers. But with the acknowledgement of what does trigger your mental and physical symptoms, hopefully this can offer you a bit more insight so that within these situations, you can be more mindful to what's going on, have a better understanding, and maybe even have a better game plan of how you can fix it. Or even better, you can try to avoid as many of these things as possible to reduce symptomology as a whole. I will leave you with a few affirmations. Remember, your struggles are real no matter where they come from or how they affect you. You have the power and the skills within you to make a change for the better. And never forget that you are not defined by your struggles. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope this video helps you throughout your journey. Remember, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what you've done in your past. You deserve happiness and health. Thank you for watching.